If you are in the state of California or any of the states that recently just got some sports betting in them, like Florida or Texas, then this call is going to be packed with information for you. This dude, which has a very interesting stage name, his name is Emo Bets, Emo Locks. Talks about taking a trip out to Arizona to collect free money from the books, and talks about a lot of the strategies that he has learned to bet with the books available to him in that state. So here's a call.
I seen the arbitrage betting, which is pretty interesting. Then you come across different accounts like making 100,000 a year. I'm like, okay, let me see what this is talking about. I went to Arizona. I planned a trip with my friends. Yeah, I would say the trip was pretty successful. I made around like 9,000. I would say definitely take advantage of those bonuses. I'm good. How are you, Juan? Thank you for your time today.
Yeah, of course, man. It's gonna be funny because I'm just gonna call you emo, so that's gonna be kind of funny because I know you want to stay anonymous, which is cool, which is perfect. But yeah, for the people listening, we're interviewing Emo Bets, Emo Locks today.
Yeah. I can't put my government out there, man. But
Of course not. Yeah, feel you. So are you? I mean, right now it's Saturday, so we're like in the middle of it right now. How has it been going for you today?
it's been cool. I got some EV bets up. But I'm just waiting for the NBA games to start live betting.
Okay, so you're mostly doing live betting, like live arbing, or what's your strat? What's in your arsenal right now? What are you doing?
So I do pre-match. I do live. Um, the pre-matches have been a lot slower lately. I think it's because Fliff kind of took a hit. I've noticed Fliff. The value's not been as good as Fliff recently. They've been throwing kind of some trick plays out there, or sometimes like a flip play will come up, but it's not really on there.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to tap into the live game more. I've been doing lives a lot more. The returns are much better, definitely.
Yeah, what state are you in?
So I'm in California, so there's no. It's really just sweepstakes books for the live bets. I focus on Onyx and Fliff for the most part.
Okay.
That's really all that it comes up on. Because I just like to do props for live bets. The spreads and the main lines move a little too fast,
Yeah.
especially on Onyx.
Yeah. And like live EV betting or live arbing.
Just ARB.
Okay. And so you said you switched to that recently. So back in February, you were mostly just doing pre-game arbs or
So I would say towards the middle of February, I started doing lives more. I was still doing lives, but I catch like one or two a day. And then the middle of February is where I kind of changed it. Because I know it's not that many pre-match arbs are coming up as much. Back in like probably January, I would say pre-matches were so good because Fliff was like printing out just straight
yeah.
value, and then the Fliff and Profit X arbs, those were crazy. Like I would just max those out like 2-3%, and then I wouldn't even hop on live because I would make like 100, 200 pretty easily. But now that the pre-matches have kind of died down, I've been tapping into live a lot more, tapping
Okay.
into EV.
Live EV now or
Just pre-match EV and then live arbs.
okay. So when did you start well, how did you find this whole new game of profitable
hmm
betting? How was that story?
So I mean, I've never really been a gambler. I'm not gonna lie, but I was on Prize Picks a little bit. My friends in college got me into it. That was probably like I would say a year and a half ago. They got me into Prize Picks, and then I just found a way to profit off of it, which was um, like just EV for Prize Picks, where you put a parlay together. That has good EV. I was just doing those, and then just started looking around more. Obviously, I know Alex. I was watching his stuff, and then I seen the arbitrage betting, which is pretty interesting. Then you come across different accounts like making 100,000 a year. I'm like, okay, let me see what this is talking about. So that's kind of how I got introduced to it. For the most part, I was just doing like parlays on Prize Picks, Underdog, Dabble, all that until December. In December, I took a trip to Arizona to try arbitrage betting because Arizona has a lot of books available, and it's pretty close to California. So I know like other states like New York has a lot of good books. I think maybe like Indiana, but I didn't really want to go to New York. So I went to Arizona. It's pretty close. You know, I like the weather. A lot of friends tell me a lot of good things about Arizona. So I went to Arizona. You know, I planned a trip with my friends. I probably saved like, I already had money saved. So I'm not gonna lie, I took that 10,000 I had saved. It was around like 9,000, and I took it to arbitrage bet in Arizona, and I probably stayed there around 13 days. And at first, I wasn't really skeptical because you could see like it's guaranteed, like it's foolproof. You could see, you know, you bet one side, you bet the other side. My concern was just getting the plays in and how it works. So obviously you have those little road patches, but yeah, I would say the trip was pretty successful. I made around like 9,000 in 11, maybe like 13, 11, 13 days. I can't remember the exact. I think it was 11. It was from the 13th to the 24th. And then ever since then, I've been doing arbs a lot more.
Wow. Did you take advantage of all those sports books sign up offers in Arizona? Because there's like a good 3, 4, 5K there to just collect. Or did you not know how
Yeah,
to do
so
it as well? Or was it just strictly arbing?
yeah, so I recommend anyone that's like if they are in a legal state, or if they're not in a legal state and they take a trip to maybe like Arizona or New York, to arbitrage bet, I would say definitely take advantage of those bonuses. I took advantage of them too, but I didn't get to max them out to its full potential. Um, but I did I maxed out some of them, but again, some of them are like one thing I'd be aware of. I think it's Bet 365. I think it's called. There's like a sign in bonus where it's like 12.50, but like this was my first time ever betting on that site. Sometimes they don't allow like the play to fully go through. So these are like just some learning curves I've learned over the way. I ended up being able to get that fixed though. Um, but I maxed out for the most part. There was some money left on the table. Like I know Caesars, it was like 1,500 bonus bet or 1,500 no sweat bet. I probably did like 1,000. But I try to max them out the most because um, yeah, I would just recommend if someone takes a trip, save a lot of money, max out those offers, and that's literally like a free like couple thousand off that. Like I would probably say I made like maybe 2 or 3 thousand off that, and then the live bets is where it was really at. I remember it was one day, it was a Sunday. There was so many NBA games. Then you had Sunday football, and I was live betting just all day. I probably made like 1,500 that day without bonuses. So yeah, it's definitely something to look into.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much the smartest way you could do that is save up, go to the state, max everything out. You can it's good smart to like figure out um and put in a spreadsheet what each sign up bonus is because there's the snow
Mm-hmm.
sweat bet, there's some that are like bet this and get this in bonus bets. Um and then you kind of figure out who to hit first. I always try to say hit the small ones first, collect those, and then go for the bigger ones after if you have the bankroll. If you have the bankroll, then go for the big ones or do it any order. But if you don't have the bankroll yet, then build it up with the smaller ones. Like for example, FanDuel, they have like bet five, get
Mm-hmm.
200. Well, it's like it changes from season to season. I know in the Super Bowl, these sign up offers get crazy too because they're trying to get people to join that book in the Super
Mm-hmm.
Bowl. So like for people that are well, this March now, but yeah, it's also smart if you go even if you have like accounts you haven't hit, wait for the Super Bowl. There's crazy, crazy sign up offers and during that, and like March Madness too, actually. Um, so when you were okay, so when you said that so now that you're back in Cali,
Mm-hmm.
which ones are you hitting? Because I know they only have you're mostly doing Profit X, like no big, right? Onyx odds.
Yep. Yep. So I say the most value is definitely on Onyx odds. Like that's a new one that came up, and there's always going to be that new like book that comes up. Like before I even found out Profit X and Novig, or about Novig, there's Profit X that I found out about. Before that, we had Fliff, but Onyx odds right now is probably the most value. There's definitely going to be the most plays pre-match, and Onyx odds is like the only one in Fliff that has live bets. Rebet has live bets for like the spreads and stuff, but Rebet's just really hard to operate. It's really slow. I really don't like the UI on it, so it's just no. I would probably stay away from that one. But yeah, I use Fliff, Novik, ProfitX, Onyx, and then I'll hit some EVs on Rebet here and there. I was on Bovada too, but I got off of it. I was on, I think it's MyBookie. I was on MyBookie, Bet Online. I was on there too. And I was on all those offshores as well. But I hopped off them because they limited me pretty hard. So
How long did those books last for you? Like Vada, Bet Online.
I'll say a good month. Um,
Okay.
Bovada, I mean, I could still get plays on Bovada, but it's only like $100. So I just took it out of it and just focused strictly on
Yeah.
Cliff and Onyx for the lives.
Yeah,
My bookie was pretty fast though.
yeah. Yeah, my bookie's fast to limit. Onyx odds is DraftKings odds, right?
I heard about that. Yeah, I heard it's like a skin of like FanDuel and DraftKings. They said
Yeah, before when they
it's
first
pretty
came out, it was
similar.
FanDuel odds. Now they're
Hmm.
DraftKings odds. So they're like switched. I don't know if they're gonna switch back and forth, but yeah, right now it's DraftKings odds. And DraftKings is so easy to beat as far as
Yeah.
their how off they are. So and especially live, they're just so bad. So yeah, that's why Onyx odds right now is really easy. It's really good. Do you have like some sort of time slots where you like to like hit pregame stuff, like you wait closer to game time, or you're just waiting for it all day? Because you said
So
you work right during the day. So
yep. So I work 9 to 5 in person, but I am in the office, so that definitely helps a little bit. Probably like a month and a half ago, I figured out you could do the notifications to your phone. So I'll just have my phone with the screen. I'll put on D and then you go to settings in D and say allow notifications for only OddsJam. So that's literally the only notification that pops up. So I'll just hit those and have the notifications on. But I mean, lately they've been seeing a little slower. But definitely the best value is like right before the games. And then I mostly just hit lives, but I haven't been getting too much pre matches lately. I used to get like 10 a day just off Fliff and Profit X. And you hit a couple with Fliff Novig or Profit X Novig combos, but it's been slowing down recently. So I've been trying to tap into live bets as well.
yeah, was there a big learning curve switching into live betting as far as how big how fast the odds move, or was it a pretty easy switch?
Out here in Cali, it was a little harder. There was a little bit of learning curve. Like I got locked in a couple bets. It happens. But in Arizona, it was a lot easier because I would just have my computer and my phone, and I'll do it at the same time. And then DraftKings and like Caesars, they operate pretty fast. So you press place a bet, it'll place a bet in like 2 seconds. For those ones, but like for example, Onyx odds, in a live bet, it might take like 5-10 seconds just for the bet to go through. Because Onyx odds does move a lot slower, so you always have to lock in Onyx odds sides first. And like if I'm hitting live and like the flip side is the EV side for the ARB, I might just ignore that bet because if I place the Onyx odd sides first and flip moves, then you get locked on that one, because so Onyx odds was a little of a learning curve because it is pretty slow. But I think I kind of understand it a little bit now.
Okay, what do you do when you get locked out of a bet? Like when you hit one
So
side and then the other one switches, line moves, whatever. What do you do? And there's no cash out.
so when there's no cash out, so in California there's no cash out. So I'm kind of like in California is definitely a little bit more difficult. If it's someone in a legal state, I would say just look at every book and see if you can find something. And just take a $20 loss, take a $10 loss, take a $30 loss because that's probably better than taking a $250 loss or a $400 loss. So I always just say don't get greedy. So I know sometimes I get a little greedy. I'm saying let me just let this ride, and it bites me in the ass. But
Yeah,
or
it
sometimes
happens.
it rewards me. But what I usually do in California, you're kind of screwed. I'm not gonna lie. Like you kind of have to wait to see if it'll pop back up. I noticed like you place the Onyx odd sides first, and then flip. Sometimes the play will go away, but it'll come back like a second later. And sometimes the odds are a lot better. But if that flip play doesn't come back, then you kind of either just got to write it out, or you just snipe it and you just wait on flip and wait to see if that play comes back up. Or maybe like on Onyx odds you placed over 4.5 rebounds. Dude had one rebound, he got a rebound. Now flip side is going to be, the under is going to be a lot more, just a better play. So sometimes it'll work in your favor. Sometimes you get locked in on it. It is a lot more difficult in California, but I just try to stay really patient and not get greedy, which helps me stay not get locked into too many bids.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good advice for the people. Sounds like you're mostly like doing this live now, switching over and figuring out, the dynamics of it and arbing out of the bet when you can instead of just like letting it ride, which is smart, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so so yeah, have you tried to put any of your friends or family on this? Have you told them about what you're doing?
Yeah, so actually, my friends I went on a trip on, they just came because we're just going on vacation. It was like, it was a vacation. I'm pretty young, so that was like our first vacation. So we just went on a vacation, and then I'm not gonna lie, like for some reason they weren't able to withdraw or deposit all that money because their banks were tripping. So it is hard to like get all that money out in a short amount of time. So I just broke bread with them, but they're definitely gonna come back. We're going back to Arizona, run it back, but this time do it the right way because I know I didn't max out all the promos, but if they can max out all the promos, then they can make a good amount of money.
Nice. Are your parents are like, yeah, what are you doing gambling? Have you told them about this or?
Yeah, my parents, they're pretty aware, so I'll say they're pretty chill. Like they don't really care um, what I'm
Okay.
doing with my money. They don't really care. They're pretty open. It's like as long as I'm not doing nothing dumb or they think it's all part of a learning process. Like if I were to get scammed or stuff like that. And my dad is a gambler too, so he's he's trying to get on it too.
Oh, okay. Nice, good. Now where does the name Emo Bets come from? Do you like listen to emo music or?
Honestly, no. I was just everyone has like a little. I know it's everyone in the gambling community has their little thing. So I was just like, I don't really know,
What's he
but I
trolling?
had that. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen that profile picture I had, the emo Logan Paul.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
had that. I've just had that as my profile picture for my burner. So I was like, oh, let me just make my name like Emo Bets or Emo Lux, like you know.
That's emo Logan Paul.
Yeah, I don't know if it's actually Logan Paul, but it looks exactly like it looks exactly like him. So you know,
That's funny, dude. Yeah, man. Well, is there anything? Well, what? All right, I have a good one.
Mhm,
So everything that you've learned now with, I guess, the workarounds of arbing. So for the people just starting out, what kind of advice would you give them to like kind of like not make the same mistakes that you did
mhm.
when you first started?
Um, if they're in California, I would say just be patient. Like you can't expect too much, but definitely just be patient. And you could also like if someone has a smaller bankroll and they're in a non-legal state, you could just build your bankroll up. That way, when you do travel to like Arizona or New York, you have a good enough bankroll to operate with because in those legal states, that's where you're gonna get the most money, like off those bonuses. They offer some. I know FanDuel, DraftKings offer so many bonuses. Like even like without the sign up bonus, like when I was out there, they're giving me like some bonus bets, like $100 bonus bets. I'm like, okay, that's free money. Like that's free. You use I think it's called the promo tool. That's
Yeah.
that's free money right there. Um, but I would just say definitely stay patient. Don't get too greedy. Like you're only gonna lose off arbs if you're being greedy. That's the only time I've been like. There's times I got locked in a bet because I placed a bet, I got the arb in. I'm like, you know what? Let me double back and try to get it back in again. Like, just just being greedy. Like that's probably the only thing I'll say is be patient. Um, if something's off, then I would ignore it because it's off for a reason. Like if Flip is like, sometimes Flip will post some trick plays, and then they'll end up voiding the play after, and you're stuck on it. That happened to me in Arizona, but I got around it. I found something to hedge it. And as far as that, yeah, I'll just say stay patient. That's part, and definitely be attentive too, because when you're looking at the arbs, like it's best to hit the EV side first. But then again, you got to look into the context. If you have a book like Onyx odds that takes 10 seconds to place first, you might want to hit that first. Or like if the EV side is on Profit X, like you might want to hit that first if the liquidity's high. That's the thing about Profit X too. I like how it shows the liquidity, because if it's very high, I'll just place the other side first just in case, and that way I'll be good on Profit X, because I know no one's gonna put like a $5,000 bet on that side like in the matter of 20 seconds. Um, but yeah, but if it's low liquidity, just don't be greedy. I get out of it. Stuff like that. Just don't be greedy. That's the main thing I would say. That's the only way I've got locked in a bet or lost money.
Yeah. Well, bro, you think you gave a lot of information here for all the people starting out. Really appreciate all the little insights that you can share and help the people starting out to kind of don't be greedy because that is, and
Right.
I add that as well. The times where I've lost the most is when I got greedy instead of just like saying, you know what, let me just take a smaller L here, or that's not really a good bet to hit, or just not patient and kind of like rushing the bets, like hitting an under twice or an over twice or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That you don't even realize, like just because of you're rushing things, and you gotta be fast, but don't rush. It's like be fast,
Right.
but be but make have the speed come with practice. Not don't try to be fast when you're first starting, right? Try to just
Right.
like understand it, double check everything,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I think that pretty much
Yeah.
sums it up. If there's anything else you want to say, or we could just
Mm-hmm.
end
Yeah.
the
Just to
call.
piggyback off that,
Yeah,
I like to say like stay efficient. Like it's okay to be a little slower, but you got to be like you can't be too slow. Um, I kind of compare it to, I don't know if you've experienced this, but let's say you're driving, you want a song, you're about to go on a long drive, you queue up your playlist, and you want a specific song, so you keep shuffling till you get that song just to start the day off. There's times where I'm just clicking shuffle and I'll pass the song a couple times because I'm just going fast, and that's something I like to compare it to. Like I would say, just be attentive. Um, Another thing I noticed too, if anyone's on Onyx, sometimes you'll place the bet and it'll say like something went wrong, please try again. Definitely make sure to check your bets and refresh, because sometimes those will go through. So you might get locked in on that bet and not even know it. Um, so if anyone's on Onyx, make sure to look out for that. And then also too, another tip, sometimes there's some pre-match ARBs that will come up under the live section. So if you're on Platinum and you're getting live bets in, you'll see like pre-match ARBs come up. And it's because, like, for example, say a Lakers game starts at 4 p.m. It really doesn't start until like 4:15, but it'll say, match starts 4 p.m. So Flip will change the original game and it'll bring out a new game. It's the same game, but it'll bring out a new like betting game. It'll say about to start. And then you could get bets like that with Profit X and Novik and at Flip. And sometimes it's like really easier because no one really is on that. So sometimes those pre-matches will come over under live. And I'll just suggest to get those in, unless it's like 4:14, 4:10. It's very close to when the game's actually about to start. Those have been some good, like those have been pretty easy ARBs too for me.
amazing, bro. Thank you for all that information. Really appreciate that. And yeah, I'm guessing anybody here that wants to DM him or something, I'll leave the link in the description here if you want to,
Yeah.
obviously help those people out. That's sweet. And yeah, thank you guys for listening. Hopefully, we got like another month and a half left of this before it kind of slows down in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
But same concepts will apply. It'll just be less volume. So
Right.
yeah, thank you guys for listening. See you guys in the next one.